The topic is language no barrier, fact or fiction. I have my own opinion on this, but before I give my opinion, I will first ask my members for all of you to just introduce themselves in one line so that those who have not seen your work or who are not familiar feel very good about it. Starting with you, Sesh. His family name is Adivi and his name is Sesh, but I love the word Adivi. What does it mean?
It means forest.
Wow. I've never met anybody whose surname is called Forrest.
मतलब
It's Forrest Gump.
जंगली हूँ हाँ.
Ha. Yes. Would you like to, how would you introduce yourself in one line?
It's a bit new to do. Um, I guess I've worked in the South Indian movie business for about 10 years. Um, so I haven't had to introduce myself in a long time. So it's a very nice thing. Recently branched out into Hindi. Did my first Hindi film Major on Major Sandeep Unikrishnan. Also a firm believer that the stories we're telling today need to be seen by all rather than a particular section. So I think the topic of this panel was of particular interest to me because of that. I'm very averse to the idea of the term regional. So that's the reason I'm here.
And the reason I asked for introduction is not because you're not well known. I mean, when I became a journalist, and every time I met Shashi Kapoor, he will smile, give me a rose, and say, I'm Shashi Kapoor. So we all learned from him that wherever we went, we said, I am so and so. Yes,
Oh.
Nikita Datta.
I mean, I totally agree with you about the introducing part, but I just can't think of introducing myself in one line. So I'm just going to stick to saying, hi, I'm Nikita Datta, and I have been acting for a while. I have acted on possibly all the mediums from television, OTT to films, and still exploring, still finding my space. Thank you.
What about you, Priya?
I'm Priya Banerjee, and weirdly and surprisingly, my first co-actor is actually sitting right here. I started my journey in the film industry with Adivi Sesh. He was directing and acting in the film.
way back
And that
when,
was my first film, Telugu film. And since then, I've been here working in several languages. I did my first Bengali film, which is my mother tongue. And that was exciting. So yeah, I'm still, as Nikita said, finding my space working. And that's what we're all here to do.
So, you know, when I started in journalism about 40 years ago, cinema was divided into art cinema and commercial cinema. If it was a small budget film, it was called art cinema, and then if it was a big budget film, it was called mainstream cinema. Until Shashi Kapoor said there's nothing like art cinema and mainstream cinema, there is something like a good film and a bad film. Today, so many years and decades later, the artists and the filmmakers and the audience are all on one page where we have cinema, we have television, we have OTT platform, we have languages, we have Hindi, and everybody is working everywhere. There is crossover and there are no judgments, in my opinion. Sesh, what do you feel? How does the OTT platform treat actors who come from movies and actors who come from, say, television or new actors? Is there a preferential treatment you feel?
I'm still new to the OTT games. I don't know how qualified I am to talk about it, but I do have to admit that a lot of my films, we were able to get them discovered so much more because of streaming services. So I think in that sense, it's really beneficial for a guy who's only based his stuff on theatrical. And it was so nice to be able to hear from people who didn't say, "हाँ, आपके picture का remake देखा मैंने." Instead, they were telling me that we saw yours on Amazon or on Hotstar or whatever. So it felt nice, and I think I'm thankful that that reach is available today for the kind of art we create.
But do you feel that there is a difference in the way the regional cinema actors are being viewed compared to a Bollywood actor?
I think that's the thing. In this interview once, I remember asking the journalist, what does the word regional mean? And they said, नहीं मतलब जो एक हिस्से का, one place. I said, that's Hindi too. So what exactly do you mean? So I think at the end of the day, we're making Indian movies, and I don't know that I even see that distinction. Perhaps also because I grew up in the US, तो शायद मुझे सारी चीज़ें regional ही लगी, but at the same time it just felt Indian. I never differentiated it in my mind, and my intention is to also look at it that way.
What about you, Nikita?
Uh, so I kind of agree with him on some bits where, of course, at the end of it, I mean, all of it is a part of Indian films. I mean, there's no differentiation as such. But at the same time, I do feel that now a lot of films, if you see, they are coming in 2 or 3 languages. Like you see recently, say Jawan came out, or Ekta Tiger just released its trailer. They're releasing it in Tamil, they're releasing it in Telugu. Also because primarily these are very big industries in themselves, language and audience perspective. But there is a huge other part of it. There is Marathi, there is Punjabi, there is Bengali cinema, which I feel has still not got its due recognition. And if we look at the past history, there are some gems that have come out from these regions. Since we're talking about regional cinemas, there have been some gems from the Marathi films, and especially because now I'm doing a Marathi film at the moment, and I've gotten a little bit deeper into it, trying to understand, and I've watched a couple of them, which maybe I wouldn't have if I wasn't doing this film. So when I look at all of this and I'm like, how has this not come in front? How is this not in the limelight? And even now, unless a film is like, making that kind of money, it doesn't really get the due attention that it wants. So I think we're still a bit far away from getting the due credit that the regional cinema deserves. We're getting there. It's a process. We're getting there, but we're still a little far away.
Do you agree, Priya, that the regional, though I agree with Sesh that we should not refer to it as regional, we should refer to it as other language films are not getting that due credit, are not getting that kind of platforms?
No, I don't. I kind of do agree with him as well. I don't think it's fair to call it Tamil film industry or Telugu film industry or Bengali film industry. We're Indian film industry, and India is divided in so many languages, but at the same time, we're also very united. And I don't think we need any more reasons to keep those differences amongst us, and especially entertainment. It should bring all of us together. And I feel right now it's a great time. There's a lot of merging going on. Like I've seen a lot of very known Bengali actors in Bollywood cinema, and Rocky and Rani. I saw quite a few known faces. I have seen known South Indian South actors in Bollywood actors in South. So I think what people are really trying to do right now is get audience, like when you cast for a film or a show, you of course do your auditions, you reach out to actors, but people also reaching out, the makers also reaching out to the regional actors here in Bollywood. So they can target those audiences to bring them here. They're kind of trying to merge it all and make it into one big film industry. And I think that's what people are trying to do now. And I think it's a great time. I think it's just the beginning of a lot of merging going on. But I think it's going to be great in the next 5 years. I can see Indian film industry doing really well as one united film industry. And I think that should be the goal at the end of the day.
Completely agree with you because when RRR was making headlines, and as a film critic, a lot of publications from outside Mumbai were calling me to ask me what I felt about it. And I genuinely felt, particularly when they went to the Oscars, that it's not a film from Hyderabad, or it's not a Telugu film or a Tamil film. It is an Indian film because that is how it's all movies are becoming pan India. And I think everybody has a role to play in this. It's not just the actors and the filmmakers who are looking at it as a business proposal of including all region faces, but I think those behind the scenes, like the marketing guys, the audience, the PRs, the way they promote the film, and talking about Marathi cinema, there is a movie that has crashed all business acumen, which I saw and I absolutely loved it, which is called Bai Pan Bhari Deva.
By pun, yes. That's
So
just recently
I
came
I
out.
am just saying that by Pan Bhari Deva, the PR just they know it, that this is a girl who is girl means woman. I'm not a girl anymore. That she is somebody who will understand the ethos of this. So they woo you and make you watch this film, and absolutely I loved it. And today, for example, when I have a sister who's older than me and she's a big buff of all this OTT platforms, and she tells me what to watch or not to watch. And then I tell her that, how do you choose? So she said, I go to the homepage, I look at the posters, and it doesn't matter what language it is because the subtitles are there, and I love these South movies. She's a big fan of all the Malayalam and the Telugu and all the movies. So I really think that we are really at a great stage where language is no barrier. But even then, we can explore this further. And maybe you can tell me, Sesh, about your experiences of working on OTT platform and how different it is um, when you're working in different language OTT platforms compared to, say, when you're working in one particular language.
I think what's interesting is most big budget Hindi films are shot in Hyderabad. So it was very interesting to me when we came here and they said, "How does it feel to be part of mainstream film?" Like that was one of the first questions I was asked when we were promoting Major. तो मुझे समझ में नहीं आया था because as far as I was concerned, I remember Major and Runway 34 were shooting on the same floor, so we were fighting for dates at that time. So it was a bit confusing for me, and I did see that. Uh, that sense of, I think it's based on earlier eras. That sense of ki, they are the other and this is the main exists in the fundamental thinking for a lot of people here. But I don't think the audiences feel that way. I feel it's in the trade. पर ऑडियंसेस को वो बिल्कुल नहीं लगता जैसे आपने कहा योर सिस्टर उनको तो फर्क नहीं पड़ा जैसे पोस्टर दिख गया ये मूवी अच्छी लगी चलो यार अच्छा ये कन्नड़ा में चलो देख लेते हैं अच्छा ये बंगाली में चलो देख लेते हैं आई थिंक दैट्स वेयर ऑडियंसेस आर they've been ahead of us. They are not worried about it, and a lot of them now are not even interested in the subtitle. They're happy to watch it in the dubbed language of their choice because now the OTT platforms give you that option. So it was interesting to see that that difference was only there in the trade and the business people, but not in the audiences.
So well said. By the way, guys, I hope you all have noticed that in this panel where one person is absent and there are three ladies, all the three ladies are full throated, and this gorgeous, charming guy, he's so polite and speaks so nicely and softly that we are all falling in love with you. Do you agree with him? He's made a very valid point that it's the trade that discriminates, not the audience. And do you feel that the discrimination is on many levels?
I mean, I have not experienced as he said he has because he was shooting and it was being shot. But I have not personally experienced anything as such, but definitely the audience doesn't differentiate anymore. And not just Indian films, I feel even Korean, Thai, because of Netflix, Amazon, all these platforms that has come out, and they're showing all sorts of movies and shows in from different cultural backgrounds, different languages, and people are watching it. I think Korean shows right now are doing great in India. People are obsessed with it. So I don't think language matters at all. It doesn't matter throughout the world. I feel people are just trying to, they want to be entertained if the content is good, if the storytelling is good, if the acting, the performances are good, if they watch it and they're entertained and happy. I don't think it matters what language it is or what backdrop it is. It just doesn't matter at all anymore. And I think it's the entertainment industry that can actually bring all of us together. With so much going on in the world, all over, there's so many differences already between people. I think the entertainment industry should be the main focus of this industry should be to bring everybody and everyone together despite of the language differences.
Do you want to add to this about the discriminations? Have you watched yourself and your own mindset when you're doing, like you're just doing a Marathi film at the moment, or when you're working on a Hindi film, 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 or when you're How different is your mindset?
So nothing changes with my mindset. I mean, I feel as an actor, how I think if I'm on a film set or on a show set, that's entirely the same. There's no change about that. But yes, as you mentioned, I'm doing a Marathi film, and at the moment, because we are in post production, so I know kind of what's happening in the back end. When you kind of hear from platforms, then there are people who come forward and go like, oh, but we are not looking into regional cinema. We are only taking Hindi films on board. So that's also the discrimination I was trying to mention about earlier, that we are still a little far away from this fact where we accept films in another language with open arms. Now, most of the films that you mentioned, like even Baipan for that matter, it's come out in theaters, or there was a film called Wade by Ritesh Deshmukh that came out and that did pretty well. Or if you knew, even if we go back to Sairat, which came back in 2016, these are films which have done extremely well in the theaters. And after that, when they come on an online streaming platform, obviously everybody's going to view them because there is a buzz about it. People are dying to watch. What's the noise all about? But if these films had directly been released on an OTT, one is, would the platform be willing to accept these films? Because that's a huge gamble to play. Not everybody is willing to take that risk yet. I'm sure this will change, and I'm sure we're moving towards that. But are the platforms willing to take that risk? And will they get the credibility that they've got eventually?
Super point raised. Seish, I would like you to enlighten on this. That about the platforms, how are they making their decisions? How are they calling the shots? Like a film that is released and then streaming on the platform, or a new film then streaming directly. How does the economics change?
Um, as far as how a lot of these guys make decisions, I'm speaking from personal experience. I haven't worked for a streaming service, so I don't know how qualified I am in that sense. But I find that a lot of the decisions taken by streaming services, they're based out of Mumbai, and corporate India in general is based out of Mumbai. So we always found it interesting as South Indian actors that our film might make 3 times or 4 times the money as a Hindi film might make, but it would be that person who would be approached for an ad or for a brand. We'd have more of a following, we'd have more of a collection for our film, more viewership on the streaming service. Yet, it would have been the actor from here who was approached for that brand. And when I looked into why, I realized that that just ties into how we have always been. जैसे Hard Rock Cafe जो है, we are not allowed to play Telugu songs in Hyderabad in Hard Rock Cafe. Yeah, I couldn't do an event there once because they said, "Nay, we have a policy of only English or Hindi songs." So corporate India, I feel, is still slow to wake up to the idea that these are all cultures that are there together. So when they're making these decisions over here, because 72% of India's business transactions happen in Mumbai, um, when they're making all their decisions over here, I don't think they realize that just actress को या model को उन्होंने किसी makeup brand पे डाला है, there's probably somebody who's 10 times more known and with more credibility, whose name or face they've never heard about, because वो यहाँ के बाहर नहीं देख रहे हैं. So the decisions for the entire country are based out of here. And I think that applies even to how the films are approached by some of the streaming services.
What a super observation and what a super insight into how the trade works. And I'm really missing Manish Kalra here, because if he was there, he would have really put more insight onto this. What are your observations on what Sesh has just
That
commented?
is actually, I mean, I never actually thought of it that way. I've always wondered why that happens, but he is right. It is the financial hub of India, Bombay. And most of the business deals and brands are dealt with over here. And so I guess it's just, sorry. So I guess it's different for people or actors outside of Mumbai to kind of be a part of that. But I completely understand what he means, because most of the massive companies, the brands, and everything is out of here. So for people to really make it on a national level and to be recognized, I feel people feel they need to be in this city particularly, because this is where everything goes down, like everything happens. So I completely agree with that. That is something I never even thought about it like that. But I was always wondered that there's so many actors out there. Malayalam film industry is one of my favorite. Like I feel there's amazing films that come out of there. And Telugu film industry makes a lot of money, but the actors are always somehow for endorsements or is selected from Bollywood itself, which I'm not sure why that happens, and that needs to change.
Yeah,
One
one
second,
thing.
huh? I'm just calling Mugdha because she's come here and they've given me this card to call her. Mugdha, please come. Can he just continue and then you, yeah, please.
So the Hard Rock Cafe incident was actually for our film.
Oh, for art film. Very. I'm taking this personally now.
Would you like to say something on
Well,
this?
it's interesting to hear this perspective, of course. Some funny thing I want to just add on to is something I heard someone say that a lot of decisions in the entertainment business are always taken out of the distance from Lower Parel to Andheri because most of the offices work there. So all your content and trade decisions are literally taken in this gap, which kind of are impacting the entire country. So you can imagine it's somewhere I feel like we're all stuck in this bubble, and it's high time that bursts someday.
You know, it's like Mugdha Salman Khan said that when a few of the top films flopped, he said it's because people are not thinking beyond Bandra to Andheri. And India is large and wide. So I think Madhur Bhandarkar did think beyond Bandra to Andheri, which is why he cast you in fashion, then in heroine. So you missed a part of the discussion, but the topic is about the language not being a barrier on OTT platform. What is your experience with OTT platform?
First of all, good afternoon, everybody. And I was aware of the topic, and I'm really thrilled to know that we are talking about this because OTT has given a different stage for all the actors who could like had to wait to shine in the films or something, but OTT with their great contents and ensemble casting, we actors have got so much to do, and there are so many great stories which previously couldn't be told in 2 hours time. So there is a 10 hours footage, so there is more to do, and there is so much, so there is nothing like a blink and miss role, we can say. So if there is even you're in 2 episodes, you have made your mark, and as an actor, it's an amazing thing. You have so much to do. So, and about the language, I was wanting to say it's so nice because of the OTT. We can see and watch so many different language movies. Of course, some languages you don't understand, but there are subtitles. But you get to understand the. Earlier, we used to only hear from somebody one national award, some Malayalam film, one national award, and then like, oh, I want to watch this. You have to track it down and you have to watch it. Now you have a lot of data on internet, and you can watch and you can understand, and the point of views and the content from different areas, like Marathi content I've been seeing before it's come to the nominations. We don't need to wait for that. There is already available. So being a Maharashtrian, I always watch, but there are other people have seen the content before I have watched it also. So that's what OTT has done to cinema and actors.
Another thing, Sesh, that happens on the OTT platform is in the olden days, for example, there are phases cinema goes through. So there was a time a lot of small town writers started bringing different dialects, different diction into the big mainstream cinema. और हम लोग कहते थे कि देखो छोटे छोटे शहरों से छोटे छोटे गांवों से सब लोग अपनी भाषा को लेकर आए हैं आज there are writers from everywhere. But a writer I was talking to was telling me that OTT platform gives big fees, big money. But writers के लिए अभी भी struggle है. You know, writers are still not being paid what an actor is being paid. Even though to write a series is like writing 10 films. Because for 10 episodes, you are gripping the audience. And I think this is something only actors can raise a voice for. You cannot shine without a writer. You cannot shine without your character. So, would you like to elaborate on this, Mukta? Like a
Yes.
character that was written for you, without which you could not have performed, and you discussed it with the writer what he was paid?
Yes, during fashion, I sat with the whole team of writers because I was giving them the insights. Like I was telling them what was actually happening in the backstage and fashion. Of course, they made it very dramatized, and Madhur Bhandarkar, he made it very interesting. So we always say it's fiction and fact. But I was the one, so I got to know how they understand the subject and write it, and that's how the character been built. And I definitely give the whole credit to the writer, which is not given in our industry. The writers are not given their due credit. But coming back to the money aspects, lot of actors are also not, if you not count the first 15, 20, 25 actors, after that even lot of actors are struggling to get paid well. Okay, so we have to come back down to the per day rate, and we have to come down, Achha, I'm working with this team, I have to, okay, then compromise. Sometimes I have let go of the thing because of the money. So that money issue is of course with the writers a lot, but with actors also. We were first fighting for equality for the money, and now we are still character artists. They give more days, they give more support to the project, but they are not paid as much as the main actor, because it's a box office, is a number. So it's another different ball game, a different discussion. We need to have another panel for that. But yes, this money issue and the due credits of the key people, it's yet to be given in our industry. It needs to be addressed, yes. But sometimes what happens, I guess, with this new OTT, it's pulling out, like kabhi hota hai ki, there is a scene, you get claps. So it's like there are writers, and they will get paid, because of them the project can't be done. There are some character artists who are getting their due credit, because but this is happening very gradually, because when the something works, then everything happens. So I think it's getting there, but we need to give more attention to it. That's what I can say. Yeah.
Priya, you have had any challenges vis-a-vis the OTT platform? Any incident, any insight you would like to share?
I mean, OTT, I feel, has changed the ball game for a lot of people, not just actors, directors, writers, producers, every single individual working on a film set. I think everybody's life has changed because there's more work now. Before, back in the day, I think even before COVID, I would like to say that there's just top actors, and they're the one that's going to do the mainstream film. And for the rest of the people who are even talented, maybe more talented, it's a constant fight because you don't have that kind of reach, or you don't know the right people to get out there and be like, hey, take my audition. Even I can do better. That wasn't there before. Now I feel everybody is getting a fair chance. And again, not just actors, there's writers, there's technicians. Oh my goodness, the main people without whom the film wouldn't even be made. The technicians, the people behind the camera. I think they're all getting so much work. People are happy and content because there's enough work for people. Of course, the competition also increases as there is, everybody has a way in now. But that's fair. I think the best people will stay, and it'll filter out the right way, I feel. But the fact that there is work out there for technicians, for people who need to make the day-to-day per day money, there is work out there, and that makes me very happy. I mean, of course, the money aspect, how much you want to get paid, what you have in your mind, okay, I would preferably get paid this much. That will take time for everyone, I feel, to get where they want to get, but the doors have opened up. The struggle is less, so of course a fight is going to be there, otherwise it wouldn't be exciting, if the competition wasn't there. But the fact that the doors have opened and people are slowly starting to get that opportunity, they're getting the chances, that's great. I think, as I said, it's a great time and it will only get better.
You tell me. You have any insights? Sorry for being so candid.
It's all right.
Huh.
No, about sorry, you'll have to
No,
come
you
again.
can
About
give me
OTT as
yeah,
being
OTT,
discriminated.
any discrimination,
Yeah.
an incident, something that left a mark
You
on
know,
your heart or
I
head.
feel, I mean, this is something I don't want to get into the whole nepotism debate, but there is another side to it, which is these days, I mean, even OTT platforms are looking for faces which are more seen in cinemas. So I have faced that where they've said that maybe we want a like a film face on our on our poster cover because you know that's just going to get more audience, which I don't understand. You're making a show or you're making a film for OTT and you're looking for a face in the film. So this is again something that the platforms have started doing. This is something I've personally faced. But I think it'll take us a while. I mean, there are actors who've outshined other actors in like shows and films that have come on OTT. So, and then they get their due credit. If I have to give examples, maybe like a Pankaj Tripathi. He's literally, his claim to fame is by doing a couple of shows. So we're still far, again, very far from that. But yeah, this still happens.
Also, another thing I would like to add to that is another thing which I've noticed in the past few months or maybe a year, that Instagram followers really matter. It doesn't matter if you are really talented or not, but
This is specifically in OTT, you know.
OTT,
Yeah, in
yes,
OTT,
yes.
because they're like, it's our social media audience, so we need a lot of followers. So they start looking through your account, they see your reach, and then on the basis of that, they think of casting you. And the problem is that now, if you see a lot of influencers, you might be seeing them doing a couple of roles.
shows.
And I don't know, it probably works for people, but then there's a huge difference between acting in a 90-second, 30-second, 60-second reel and comparatively working in a film or in a show. There is a
That
huge
is, I
difference.
would absolutely, I completely agree with that because, and that is something that has kind of annoyed me at times. I wouldn't say, I was just like, yeah, that person has 5 million followers, but that person cannot carry a scene more than 30 seconds. And
So
they shouldn't be casted just because of their followers. And that's something I feel is not okay.
it's not it's demeaning
It's
to the actor.
demeaning to the
Yeah,
right talent.
I
Yeah,
completely
yeah.
agree with you. Now, Sesh, I would like you to wind this up because you saw how they gave me the wrap up card. They could have done it a little more discreetly, but never mind. How would you like to wrap it up on the topic about the language, and how do you see cinema or OTT platform in the coming years?
I'd like to wrap it up um,
You can
with
speak a little loudly.
the story of positive discrimination. So there was a chef at the Taj Hotel in Hyderabad. The guy from Delhi, big fan of mine, went and saw my film, but he saw major in Hindi because we made a Hindi version and a Telugu version. Dub ne kiya tha, properly shoot kiya tha, Hindi mein shoot kiya tha. So he went to the theater, went to Inox, and he saw it. And he said, सर मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगी when I showed it to my family, but मैंने कहा मैं उनको ओरिजिनल लैंग्वेज में दिखाऊंगा, तो मैंने अपने बच्चों को, भले वो तेलुगु नहीं बोलते, मैं उनको तेलुगु में दिखाया मैंने. मैंने कहा पर यार हमने हिंदी में बनाया आपके लिए ताकि आप लोग हिंदी में देखो. इसे नहीं नहीं पर हमें ओरिजिनल में देखना था. तो मुझे समझ नहीं आया क्योंकि हमने ओरिजिनली हिंदी में बनाया तो ओरिजिनली तेलुगु में भी बनाया हमने, बट उनको ओरिजिनली बच्चों को दिखाना था तेलुगु में, भले वो तेलुगु नहीं बोलते हैं. So it was an interesting experience where I was like, oh, even if we make a film in Hindi, we'll still be looked at as the South guy who made a movie in Hindi. So that was a very interesting thing to understand, that the audience looks at it that way. And I was happy because मेरे तो 3 ticket कट गए instead of 1. And the funny thing about the writing thing that you said, I'm known in Telugu film for writing my own stories because I wasn't getting the opportunities I wanted when I started out. So I wrote my own films, including major. So मैं ये सोचता हूँ कि the reason writers don't get as much acclaim is because audience जिनके लिए तालियां बजाते हैं, जिनके लिए सीटी बजती है ना, उन्हीं को क्रेडिट मिलता है from businessmen और businesswomen को वही दिखता है कि किसके लिए सीटियां बजा रहे हैं, किसके लिए तालियां हैं. So तालियां तो अक्सर एक्टर के लिए होती हैं because I would sometimes write this very carefully planned line और मैं उसको जब डिलीवर करता तो बोलते थे अन्ना जिस तरह से आपने डायलॉग बोला, यार बोला नहीं, लिखा है इसको. But the way they perceive it, an audience perceives it, is to say it's the way the actor said it. And I feel that is the fundamental reason as to why writers don't get as much credit. यहाँ नहीं, अभी तो वहाँ writers strike चल रहा
There's
था.
a whole, ideally, the strike has come into notice because the actors went and stood by the writers. That's when everybody got to know that there's a strike going on in LA right now. So I feel this is again a very, very long road ahead where we'll actually start recognizing, because ideally, if you see, a lot of times the actor might not be that good, but it's written in a certain way that it looks so good, and we start appreciating that, oh my god, this person has performed so well. But no, it's actually the character is written so well that you don't have much to do. The writer's done all the job for you.
This I agree with, because the writer in me ने मुझे the actor in me को खड़ा किया actually. So
So it's competition in house for you, but I just want to tell you, Anna, that during the COVID, when we were all in a phase of darkness, and I used to go down in the late evening for a walk, so my neighbors would meet me, and somehow all of them were hooked on to Telugu films, that action film, you know, Raskala and all that they say, and they beat up each other, that kind of movies. And actually, they are the ones who must have been the seed, because this is the kind of movie the audience wants to watch. And that's how I think this marriage between Telugu, Tamil, Hindi has happened over the years. And it's pan India. No matter what you say, it is pan India. Writers, actors, directors. And in my opinion, language is no barrier on OTT or anywhere. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Can we keep clapping for a lot of insights? Hello, everyone. My name is Prerna Mugdha. Thank you so much for being here. Priya, Bhavna ma'am, huge fan. Huge fan. Sorry, I'm taking this one more time. Huge fan. 100%. लेकिन उससे पहले थोड़ा सा फन होने वाला है. निकिता, Advi, thank you so much for being a part of this. Really, there are so many things that we got to know. Specifically about the influencer part, I think I also totally agree. ये 90 सेकंड के रील्स में no, I'm not. Everybody is an influencer. भावना मैम क्या बात कर रहे हो? Well, मुग्धा के लिए हमारे पास में कुछ specific questions हैं, and you can absolutely go ahead and say shut up अगर आप नहीं जवाब देना चाहती हैं. But I will still sort of throw them at you. So Mugdha, in a sentence, अगर आपकी matrimony की bio होती कोई, तो क्या होती? A couple of words, adjectives, gorgeous, funny,
मुझे शादी नहीं
great
करनी है
eyes.
तो मैट्रिमोनी की बायो ही हो नहीं सकती.
अगर हो, hypothetically अगर होती तो.
I don't know. I never thought. You
Yeah.
know, I'm with Rahul for like more than 10 years and we are
Yeah.
very happy. So
Yeah,
I think
fab, okay.
I won't be there.
Super. What's the best piece of relationship advice that you have received and you would like to give?
I always say best relationship, like a relationship stays well when a couple gives space to each other.
Yeah.
I always say there is a quote of my spiritual master: "The mind which gives space beat longer together." So which give space. Hearts which give space beat longer together. Tarneeb. So that quote has really set between us, and I think I keep telling everybody give space to each other, and the relationship will just flow like water.
This is a very personal question. You don't have to answer this. How much space is enough space? You don't have to answer. It really depends
I
on
think
person to
everybody knows what space to give.
There's another fun activity that Advi, Nikita, Priya, and Bhavna ma'am, if you could be a part of. Advi, मैं आपको Skull Candy के ये headphones देने वाली हूँ. आपको ये लगाने हैं. मैं आपके headphones में गाने play करूँगी, and there will be words that they can, with action or with your lip sync, you're trying to explain it to Advi. ठीक है? तो मैं आपको words बता दूँगी. He's going to listen to it. You're going to explain it to him so that he can describe what exactly he's listening, what you're trying to describe. It could be a word. It could be.
Could you describe what you're saying again?
I'll start again. Lunch कहाँ है? मैं दिमाग नहीं काम कर रहा है. I'll start again. So अद्वी के कानों पर headphones होंगे, blasting music होगा. अद्वी कुछ सुन नहीं पाएंगे. आप तीनों को explain करना है वो शब्द कौन सा है जो आप explain करना चाहते हैं. If Advi gets it right, great. Even if he doesn't get it right, great. He still gets hampers, and so do all of you. ठीक है?
Lunch मिलेगा तो मैं करूँगा.
ठीक है. This is for you. All right, and I will just put them on. सुन पा रहे हैं? Music आ रहा है? Okay, you can't hear. Good. I'll give you the words. Yeah. So You can talk whatever she's saying, but you're not supposed to hear her. Can you hear her? No, he can't. Come on.
Thumbs down. Gun rose, thumbs down.
Gun Rose thumbs down is definitely not it. I think Priya knows it.
Gun rose, dislike. अच्छा गन का आधा ग हाँ
You can try another one.
okay flowers pool
I have to do all or just one? Just one. Okay, fine. I'll do the second one then.
hey, the music turned off you can just say that.
So this means Hindi. When I say this, you know, like Dhamsare. Whenever I do this, it means Hindi. So what
Like
It
thumbs
doesn't
down.
mean Hindi in Hyderabad.
so this means whatever you're saying to say it in Hindi, okay? So the first one you should get it now. First one, what was this?
Gun
Yeah.
हाँ that's a flower but उसको हिंदी में बोलना है
Advi is so scared of you right now, Nikita. क्या? मैं Mr. India, Narendra Modi.
I'm actually more very scared of it.
I'm going to be very sweet to you. Okay?
I was sweet.
It is in Hindi. First word.
Are we allowed to speak so much? No. I can't speak so much.
You can speak, but you can't use the mic. He can't hear it. He shouldn't be able to hear it.
They are living together. You will understand him or emotional.
Stop. Sorry.
Never mind. That's
It's like you're putting something on the roll.
Can you make it this easier, please?
We can't hear it. We can't hear it.
I think what
एक्टर को राइटर डायलॉग देगा तो गेस कर पाएगा
I'm just saying it.
I think we should.
Gulabs. Gulabs.
I see
Guns and
all-
Flowers is the new series that Advi Sesh is a part of. Can we please clap for all of them? Thank you so much for participating in this. You really did try hard. You knew it from the start, from the gun go.
I have to apologize to my friends Raj and Deepa.
And you have to stop writing so much and play dumb charades, right, Nikita? Absolutely.
Sorry बाबा नहीं यार हमारे वहाँ हिंदी नहीं होता है
हमारे
ये you lost a point होता है हमारे वहाँ
It's a cheat question as Ranveer Singh will say.
Bhavna ma'am, that's absolutely correct. And on this cheat question, I will just ask you and everyone to stand up. Come slightly ahead so that we can take pictures. And also, can we, for being such a great sport, can we please have lovely hampers for Nikita, Mugdha from Special Choice and Skull Candy each, and specially curated gifts for Advi, Priya, and Manish, not here, from Special Choice. Bhavna ma'am, if you could hand over all these special hampers to each and every one of them. Keep clapping for this beautiful panel discussion and also have a tiny breather before we get back to the next panel discussion. Thank you so much for gracing the stage and for gracing this beautiful, beautiful panel discussion. It really did open our minds to a couple of opinions. Thank you. Yes.